Okay, we will be using Office 2013 for advanced computer apps. And the first thing I'm going to have you do is get into Word. And you do that by clicking the Office button in the lower left corner of your screen. And my Word is right here, but if it doesn't pop up there, click All Programs. Scroll down and find Microsoft Office 2013. Make sure it's 2013. And then click Word. And when you first get into Word, this is what your screen will look like. And you can create a new blank document from scratch by clicking here. And Word 2013 looks similar to the previous version of Word. There are some changes though. You'll notice there is actually a file menu now, and this looks a little bit different here. Depending on what you click on, your options will change over here. But in Activity 1.1, it talks about completing the word processing cycle in your book. And by the way, when you're here in the File menu portion of Word, to get back to your document, you just click this arrow. Okay, so it's important that you become familiar with the different parts of the screen. This seems real basic, but just a quick review here. This document hasn't been saved, so by default the name is Document 1. These are ribbons. When you click on it, you are offered different options. Okay. These are the tabs, and then this is the ribbon, all of your different options. Also, the ribbon is broken into different sections, and you can get by the names at the bottom: clipboard, font, paragraph, styles, editing, and privacy. Some of them have a dialog box launcher that when you point at that little button there and click it, it launches a dialog box and offers you more options. It's also important that you know this right up here is the collapse the ribbon. So if you ever come in and your screen looks like this, just click that down arrow. Click on a ribbon option, and then right here click the pin the ribbon. Okay, and then it will stay, and then that will collapse it. So that's how that works. Your ruler is across the top and on the left side. The gray area of your ruler is your margin, and that's where items will not be printed. And you can adjust that just by pointing where the gray and the white meet. And then when it says top margin, you can click and drag and adjust your margin like that. You can do the same thing for your bottom margin. If I scroll to the bottom of my page, there's my bottom margin, and I can change that one if I want. Same thing up here at the top, although these are really kind of tricky. Make sure it says right margin, and then click and drag. Not right indent, because that's something different. Same thing over here. This one can get to be a little bit trickier. Left margin, I can drag that, but see, this one has 3 items: first line indent, hanging indent, and left indent, depending on where you point on that item there. But if you want to adjust the margin, make sure it's a double-headed arrow like that, and it says left margin. Okay, moving on. Word has what's called autocorrect. So when you accidentally there's words already entered into it. So if I'm spelling out and, but I begin to do this, N-A-D, that's not a good example. They show you in your book, A-D-N space. and it will change it to and. That's an autocorrect option, which you can change, and they show you how to do that coming up. But to save right now, I'm going to have you always save your documents to your SkyDrive. So click File, Save As, and click OneDrive. Actually, it's called OneDrive, not SkyDrive. It used to be called SkyDrive. And since it's on your machine, let's click Browse, and I'll show you where it should be. Right here is where it is, OneDrive. Click it. Okay, here's some folders. We should currently have a folder in here named Word for the word processing unit. Oops. And then inside the Word one, I'm going to right click and do New Folder, and I'm going to make a folder for Word S1, for Word Section 1. And I'm going to double click that folder. And notice the blue arrows, that means it's syncing. And now I'm on my OneDrive in my Word folder. I'm in my Word S1 folder, and my book is telling me to name this WS1-FCTT Travel Package. Enter. It's also instructing you to print, so as soon as it's done saving, you can also go to File, Print, and in this room, the printer is, if you pull down your list of printers, your printer is right here, HP OfficeJet Pro 8600 Network. That's what you'll always pick from. And then you've got some settings here that you can pick from to print. You'll learn more about that in the future. For now, just know that that's the printer and you don't actually have to print this document. Click back to go back. Moving the insertion point, inserting and deleting is activity 1-2. Control home, and actually the only ones that you really need to know are on page 11. And actually, this isn't a very good example because I don't have a lot in here. I didn't type everything they asked me to type. I'll just type a few things. Okay, and when I hold down the Control key on my keyboard and hit the Home key, it takes me to the beginning of the file. If I hold Control and then the End key, the END key, that takes me to the very end of the file. If I'm in the middle of a line like this and I hit the Home key, it takes me to the beginning of the line. If I hit the End key, the END key, it takes me to the end of the line. Page up and page down moves you up one screen and down one screen. And of course the arrows allow you to move around also. Okay, activity 1-3 talks about scrolling, selecting, replacing, and deleting text, and using undo and redo. Some basics here. To select a word, you can point at it and double click it. It'll select the word. If you want to select a line, come out here and notice how my pointer is an I-beam, and now when I come out into the left margin, it turns into a white arrow. I can click and it will select the whole line. If you want to select a sentence, hold down the Control key and click, and that selects the sentence that you're pointing at. Another way to select text without using your mouse is to put your cursor wherever you want, hold down the shift key, and then use your arrow keys. That allows you to select without clicking and dragging. To select an entire document, Control A, or you can come out here in the left margin and click 3 times. And that selects the whole document. Activity 1.4 is checking the spelling and grammar of a document. Just make sure you know your options. And a lot of times when Word says that you need to correct a grammatical or spelling error, sometimes it's wrong. So, you know, like names and things. So just make sure you're actually looking at what it's checking and make sure you're actually reading it to make sure that it makes sense. And finally, in Activity 1.5, autocorrect and thesaurus. They allow you to use this, you know, like in a document. Let's say I'm always typing my name like this. Okay, wouldn't it be nice instead of typing all out if I just type TW and hit enter, if it would just type out my whole name for me? Or the same thing with Bellevue Community School District. If that's really long, okay, wouldn't it be nice if I could just go BCSD, enter, and it would be there for me? Here's how you can do that. Go to File, and then Options. And again, the step-by-step instructions are on page 16. Proofing, okay, and then autocorrect options. And here you can type in, replace Bellevue Community School District with and I'm going to add that one. And another one I'm going to add is TW for Tracy Weber. And I'm going to add that. Okay, and I'm going to say OK and OK. And now when I type in TW and hit spacebar, it puts my name. When I type in BCSD and hit spacebar, it puts the school district. So that's kind of nice if you're on the job and you're constantly doing the same, typing the same things, that can be a useful tool for you. Why don't you try to do these on your own? Activities 1.1 to 1.5 in your book.